All right, good afternoon again. We're now ready to begin the Maryland press conference following today's NCAA Division I women's basketball second-round game. As a courtesy to everyone, please silence your cell phones. Please provide your name and media affiliation each time you ask a question during today's press conference. If you're joining us on Zoom, please use the raise hand function for questions. We'll address questions in the room first and then get to Zoom if time allows. Recording press conferences or on cell phones or cameras is prohibited. We have with us here on stage head coach Brenda Freese, as well as student athletes Mir McLean, and then also Oluchi Okanawa. As a reminder, we will begin with an opening statement from Coach, followed by questions for the student athletes. We will then dismiss the student athletes and conclude with questions for Coach. Coach, if you want to start us off with an opening statement.
Yeah, obviously we're really disappointed to not be moving on, especially for our seniors. But just a tough game. I felt like it was there for the taking for us. We didn't manage enough plays to be able to go take it, and we had a lot of uncharacteristic missed shots in this game. But I thought the first half we it took us a while to be able to settle in. I thought credit to UNC, their defense was elite, making us have to play on the offensive end, and then they made us took a lot of things from us offensively that we really struggled on the defensive end. But thought we regrouped at halftime, did a much better job getting back to making plays that we're used to making. In the NCAA, when you're playing on someone else's home court, it's extremely difficult. And we missed 14 free throws and shot under 40% for the game. So a lot of uncharacteristic plays for us. But the last thing I'll say is just when I look back on this team this season, just how they played for each other, the unselfishness, the resiliency, especially when you talk about all the injuries that we faced this season. This group never quit, and I thought they played a 40-minute game like that where they were not going to quit.
Questions for student athletes. We'll start here on the front row.
Max Schaefer, Testudo Times. Mir, congratulations on a great career. I just wanted to ask you if you have any kind of reflections at this time, particularly on your last 2 years with the Terps.
Yeah, I'm a competitor at nature, so I'm really proud of our team, and if that's the way that my season's going to end, I'm okay with that because we fought to the very end. Just reflecting, just very proud of us, and more memories to come for sure.
Hi, Ben Messinger, Testudo Times. Oluchi, in the third quarter, obviously you were struggling a little bit. You spoke to Coach in a little bit of an intense conversation. Can you just break down what was said there and just kind of what confidence that gave you, even despite the loss?
Yeah, Coach understands I'm a competitor at heart, and I've told her this before, and I'll keep on telling her this until forever. I love to be coached hard, and that's what she does with me every single day. And really what that was a regroup moment for myself, and her telling me she believed in me, because sometimes that's really all you need to hear to get back out there. It's a long game, lots of ups and downs, and I feel like after that conversation, that's when I really went back out and just did what I had to do for my team in that moment. So I'm forever appreciative of that.
Hi, Faith Harris, the Diamondback, also for Oluchi. Just kind of similar question we asked Mir. Just a reflection on your first season with Maryland. Obviously coming in from another ACC foe and having such a stellar breakout season. Can you just talk about your reflections at this time of your first year here as a Terp?
Yeah, there's really no words to describe how happy I am to be a Terp and how happy I am to be coached by Brenda Freese. And this was one of the best decisions I think I ever made, and I'm so blessed to have been welcomed to the program the way that I have, and all I want is to keep on playing for her, for this program, for this name that we wear on our chest as hard as I can.
Hey, Brady Ruthium, Terps, for both of you. As leaders on this team, when you come into this weekend and you see Addie and you see Kendall really step up in their first ever NCAA tournament games, just how proud does it make the two of you as leaders, knowing the impact that you had on them and the direction of the future of the program?
Mir, can you start us off with that one, and then Oluchi?
Ooh, you touched my heart right there. I'm incredibly proud of our freshmen. I mean, I know I'm 6 years older than them, but I'm really proud of them. I look up to them, and they've just shown so much grit and growth, and it's amazing to see as a leader. They're leaders themselves, and I have no doubt in my mind where they're going to take this program. Just very proud that they trusted me to be their leader, and I'm also very happy that, you know, they have grown themselves and been able to show us what it looks like to be a fearless freshman for sure. I definitely envy their bravery freshman year. So yeah, very proud of them.
Yeah, I mean, obviously looking towards next year, looking towards the future, it just puts so much confidence in me. And now that they had this experience, now that they've seen themselves be fearless in the biggest tournament that you could ever play in, I'm excited for what they're going to learn and apply to next year.
Any other questions for front row here?
Yeah, Max Schaefer, Testudo Times. For either of you guys, we're just not used to seeing that many missed free throws in a game. I know there's not much you can say about free throws. You're obviously trying to make them, but was there anything you felt like was going on at the line? Did the rim seem a little unforgiving? Like anything like that you guys felt like was maybe a little off today at the line?
Aluchi, can you start us off with that one, and then Mayor?
I think Coach said it best. That was uncharacteristic of us. That was uncharacteristic of me. And I think those are controllables. You know, I think that's something that you look back on, and obviously we played so hard, but it's knowing that, okay, we still were able to make it competitive, like it was still in our hands, you know. So, I mean, that's something that we're going to continue to emphasize, of course. I know for myself, continuing to work on the mental game within that, and knowing that even though I want to be better, don't let it affect the next shot. But once again, all things to learn for next season.
Yeah, you just grow from it. It's something that we practice every day, so it's not, like Lucci said, Coach said, it is uncharacteristic. It happens. And all you can do is just pour into your teammates, give them confidence when they step up on the line, and when you can rebound from the free throw line as well, it gives them more confidence to be able to make the next shot.
For really either of you, obviously this is the end of the road. Can you just characterize what this team meant to you, and kind of just, I know there's a lot of emotions right now, but just characterize the journey here and how special it was.
Can you provide your name and affiliation?
Ben
for us?
Messinger, Testudo Times, my bad.
Aluchi, could you start us off with that question?
You know, you know it's going to end at some point, but you never want that time to come. I think this team was so incredibly special, and I'm honored to have said that I was a part of it. And there's so much that we learned and so much that we're going to take for us, not just on the basketball court, but in our lives. I think when you join these teams, you create bonds with these girls that are for a lifetime. So I'm just so incredibly blessed to have met them.
Yeah, I've learned a plethora of things being here in 2 years. I feel like I've had a 4-year experience, and I'm very grateful for my coaches who have always poured into me, and I mentioned before my freshmen and everybody in between. So just reflecting back, I'm just very proud of, you know, the resiliency that we've been able to show this year. Other teams, they might have fallen or driven apart, and we only got closer, and I think that's just a testament to who we are now and who we're yet to be for next year.
Anything else for the student athletes? Ladies, thanks so much for the time, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Good job, guys. Good job.
We'll now begin with questions for Coach. We'll start here on the front row.
Austin Borshak, Terp Talk, WBB. Tough game. I don't know if you would have seen this yet, but the footage of you speaking with Aluchi on the sideline is already going pretty viral in a positive way. Wanted to ask you about that moment, and what does it say about Aluchi to be a player who can, take that on positively from a coach, and how do you read the moment, when your player is having a tough day from the line, knowing how to challenge her in the right way?
Yeah, I think for me, it's always been, a pulse that I've been able to have with individuals and players, and we do have to at time have to have those tough conversations. You can't have them without a relationship. You've got to be able to have that. The best of the best, the elite of the elite, want to be coached hard. And at that moment, I kind of had watched Lucci struggle, for within this tournament, and she's just too gifted. So, I kind of wanted to implore just how much belief I had in her, and just kind of challenge her. I know what a winner and competitor she is, and just challenge her. Do you want the moment? And I knew it was like give it a minute, get her back in, and you saw she went out, she got a bucket, she got a steal, and never looked back. And sometimes that's where you got to know your players and the relationships that you have. And but like again, you can't have those conversations if you don't have a relationship with them.
Max Schaefer, Testudo Times. Coach, when Coach Banghart was in here, she was talking about how the game plan was to kind of spread you guys out and go at individual matchups. What did you feel like they possessed that gave you guys trouble and kind of allowed them to beat you guys off the dribble more than most teams were able to do this year?
They did. I mean, clearly they went to those one-on-one matchups on the defensive end, and we're super aggressive. I mean, they're a difficult matchup because if you go to help and rotate, they all can shoot the three extremely well, and they're very athletic. They've got, like I said before the game, I mean, they've got depth, they've got speed, they've got size. And so it was really, really difficult. I thought on the flip side, when we were driving them and being really aggressive, good things happened. Obviously, when you get to the free throw line 31 times. So, that's when you watch the both teams and you're trying to exploit the other end.
Hey, Coach. Brady Ruth, Terps. When you think about a season like this, when you faced and overcame so much adversity, how long does it kind of take the hurt of today to start blending into optimism for next season? And what are some of the things, the freshman pieces, the depth, the returners that give you optimism for, the upcoming year?
Yeah, I think it's really important to give your locker room perspective. And so immediately, as much as we hate to lose, that's not changing anything, but also, wanting to share with them like I did in the locker room, just how proud we are as a staff. I mean, so much adversity when you talk about the injuries, the tough January stretch that we had. They never pointed fingers. I mean, this was... again, I mean, no one's talking about one of the youngest rosters out there. Yes, we had 3 seniors, and they carried a heavy load today, but the amount of freshmen, which is uncharacteristic nowadays, that we had to play this season, and just to watch their growth, like in this tournament, to see where they didn't even flinch, Addie and Kendall, and the moments that they were able to have. So that's why we do what we do. It's all about the journey and just, watching these young women. Because it's not just about basketball. Like this adversity, they'll be able to carry into life when hard things happen and see that they've been able to come through it.
Coach, obviously, this is the end of the road. You have 3 seniors here, Mir, Saylor, Yarden. Obviously, you didn't have them all 4 years, but obviously today is a tough day for the 3 of them. Can you just talk about the memories you have of having the 3 of them here for as long as you've had, and just kind of talk about their future a little bit?
Yeah. Well, I think Mir had an outstanding tournament when you talk about her 2 games and just emptying the tank. But I thought, all 3 of them, I mean, they should be able to live with, they tried to do everything they can. I thought, one, it was just awesome to be able to bring Saylor and Mir back home and full circle moment after recruiting them. And Yarden, like just the winner and the competitor she is, our staff really enjoyed having her all season. Like we spoke to them. They all got really bright futures, and whether that's continuing on to play or the next move they make, they're going to be extremely successful. So just really proud to be their coach and be able to have that moment in time, whether it be 1 or 2 years, to be able to have on the bookend the finish of their career, and hopefully give them the most positive experience that they could have had.
Hi, Coach. Just talking again kind of about resiliency through the team. You called 3 timeouts in that last minute, and, going forward to that. Just what were you talking about there with the team to try to push through? And, also kind of double question, how does this carry forward to next season with your young roster, kind of like you talked about before?
Well, you knew the game was going to come down to possessions, so having those timeouts I thought were important for us, especially we wanted to be able to advance and get some of those quick hits on the offensive end, and then being able to know what we wanted to do from a defensive end. But being able to take those moments again, like I said, we were right there, but UNC made more plays than us.
Max Schaefer, Toledo Times. Coach, has anything that's gone on through the course of this season changed your outlook at all about what you're prioritizing for next year, or is it just a matter of we have some players from injury coming back, we're going to kind of retool and regroup?
I think that's something we do every year. Our staff sits down and we look at our roster. I mean, these are ever-changing times, so you've got to see what your roster is going to look like and who's returning. So they are uncharacteristic times, but I think we do a great job. I mean, we understand what we need, where our strengths lie, what areas we need to be able to improve on. We've continued to show that. We continue to evaluate, where our roster is, because we know we want to go further. I mean, this isn't getting past the first round isn't where we want to be, and we know we want to continue to play at the highest level. But again, given the injuries of this roster, they took us as far as they could. So I'm really proud of them for that.
Any other questions for Coach?
Hi, Ben Messinger, Toledo Times. Obviously, kind of what I asked Mir and Alucci earlier, and you've said a lot of it. How do you describe this team, other than obviously perspective and just what you just said? How can you describe the specialty of how this team worked throughout this season?
Yeah, I've always said this, but the resiliency. I think there's a lot of teams, when their backs were against the wall, when they had lost 4 games in January, a lot of teams wouldn't have made the tournament. I mean, they were right there. It was touch and go which direction they were going to take. And I think that's the beauty of this team, is they just continue to fight for one another, fight for this program. And you saw it unfold. And a lot of teams, it's really hard to do with all the adversity, losing your entire backcourt. And they just continued to find a way. And I think that's the beauty of this season, is just being able to see just how resilient they were through all the adversity.
Any more questions for Coach? All right, Coach, thanks so much for the time, and congratulations on a great season.
Thank you.
Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.vic.edu.